Hey golfers, Drew Mahowald here with Second Swing Golf. I'm joined by Sam Udovich. Sam is one of the most accomplished high school players really ever in the state of Minnesota, and we're here today to test golf balls. So what came across my desk recently, Sam, was a box of unused 2009 Pro V1s. And then I, of course, brought a box of 2025 Pro V1s. So we're gonna test them. We're got a few drivers to hit, a few 7-irons to hit out here on the golf course. But from your experience, what ball are you playing? And I guess what are you looking for out of your golf ball?
So I play the Pro V1X right now, but I've always kind of been a Pro V1 guy.
Okay.
Last year with Tyler in a club fitting, we kind of made the switch. I've always been a Titleist, but that's about it, yeah.
Okay, so you've always been playing a Pro V1 and lately Pro V1X. What is it about, whether it's Pro V1 or Pro V1X, that for you just is so trustworthy? I mean, it's kind of been, you kind of make it seem like it's been automatic, that's the ball I'm playing.
Yeah, I've always literally only played Titleist, honestly.
Okay.
Pro V1X, Pro V1. But last year when we switched, I switched to Pro V1X because me and Tyler kind of came up with that I needed more spin and kind of a higher ball flight.
Okay.
But that's kind of just been my trust.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today, we got a launch monitor with us as well, but we'll also kind of see how the ball's flying. And we'll talk about feel as well. But I'm curious to see how the Pro V1 has evolved over the last 16 years, because in the 2009 Pro V1, you were a toddler at that point, Sam. So we'll see how much Pro V1's changed over the years. So looks like we want to hit driver first. Which ball do you want to hit, the old or the new one first?
Let's do the old. Let's do the old first.
We'll start with the old ball.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so shot one with the 2009 Pro V1. Okay, you have a lot of club speed, sir. Okay. How did you feel about that one right there?
Felt pretty good.
Yeah?
It didn't really feel much different.
I'm seeing a lot of spin being picked up by the radar right here. We got a full swing launch monitor with us. But in terms of club speed and ball speed, we are, that's about maxed out.
Yeah.
It's about 180, that's a 150 basically smash factor there. So that's pretty good as far as speed goes. So let's try shot two here. Are these numbers kind of what in terms of the speed, right? That's kind of typically what you'd see?
Yep, I think so. I mean, pretty typically for sure.
Okay. That's the same exact golf shot.
That's nice.
Are you always typically a little draw too, like that?
Pretty much a little cut actually, probably.
Okay.
That was a little quicker.
Gosh.
Spin was almost 1,000 higher though, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of spin. Interesting. I'm curious to see how this thing changes with the new ball here. We'll hit one more. I will say I'm curious to get up there and see where those golf balls are, because they're right next to each other on this map here. Now it's turning just a little bit more, but it's still way out there. Okay, so that one, the spin went down quite a bit. So we've got, that one carried over 300 yards. You're in the 180s for ball speed. That's kind of, is that where you're living with the driver pretty much? Okay. How about the feel? That feel different than kind of what you're used to, or is it pretty similar?
Pretty similar, maybe a little similar.
And so I imagine with Titleist probably there's a little bit of this element of, if our golf ball is the most played and the best one on the market, we're not going to change a whole lot to it, right? So I imagine that's what's going on there. But your average carry was 296 yards. Your average ball speed is 181.2. All three of those are right next to each other in the middle of the fairway on here. So that was pretty good. So we're gonna grab a sleeve of the new ones here, and we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts seeing that so far?
It's pretty similar, honestly, for feel-wise, but I feel like that one kind of came off, if anything, maybe a little bit more, like, harder.
Like a little pop.
A little more
ball
pop.
speed was up a little bit compared to the last one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the spin is a little bit more in the range that I know you're used to. That was 2696 for spin, right in the mid 2000s. It was registering a little bit more with the previous, the old Pro V1. I know that's one thing that they've been trying to do over the years is decrease spin. So. Wow. One thing I've noticed too, that's two tee shots where that draw hasn't really shown up. It's kind of on the right side with both of those.
I feel like that one's kind of my natural ball flight, if anything, the little cut.
Really? Okay. So you're normally not hitting a draw off the tee as much?
Not really. I feel like I'm more favorite cut. I mean, I'll definitely sometimes hit a right to left one, but more so cut.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing. But it's fascinating how the shot shape did change from the first ball to the next one.
It was a little more spinny, but
Yeah, that maybe, did you hit that one a little low on the face?
a little heely.
Okay.
Just a
Interesting.
hair.
So we've got some numbers here. Surprisingly, it looks like everything is slightly a little bit better. Not surprisingly, slightly better with the new ball, the modern version. So I'm going to go through all kind of the measurements here, but your average carry went up 10 yards to the 2025 ball, 306 to 296. We'll go spin rate was much lower with the new ball. We're actually at around 3,000 even with that last one that you kind of hit a little spinny versus much higher with the 2009 Pro V1. Ball speed was up to 183 on average with the 2025 versus 181. One thing I'm curious about here too is going to be the height. So yeah, it seemed like, okay, so actually it looks like that Pro V1 was going a little bit higher, or the new ball. It's actually a 102 for a peak height versus it was registering 118 for the 2009 one. So did you notice anything feel-wise between the two off the tee?
I mean, not necessarily. I feel like, again, maybe a little bit more pop, I feel like, with the newer one for sure.
Yeah, there was definitely some more ball speed with the new Pro V1 there. So that seems to check out as kind of exactly what we think. Overall, though, the smash factor was about the same at 1.48. So yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities, probably a couple subtle differences that are making, those refinements over the years from an older Pro V1 to something new. So, all right, well, let's hit some 7-irons off the tee here, and we'll see what happens there. All right, so this is the 7-iron. We're hitting the old Pro V1 first. Let's see. That one's registering with a carry of 186, spin in the 7,500 range. Again, are these numbers that you're kind of used to? You know, ball speed a little over 130. That seems like it would check out for you.
I'd say so. I think so.
Okay. Are you typically a draw player with your irons? No?
The ball's kind of going a little left with that old one
Yeah.
a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah, so that one, okay. We're getting a lot of spin here with this one. That was back over 8,000.
Okay.
So here's ball number 3. Again, these are the 2009 Pro V1s. He's got a 7-iron. And then we'll go back to the brand new or the 2025 version of the Pro V1s for the final 3 shots. There is some wind pushing the ball left too.
That was a little bit better.
Okay.
Not much.
But you would say typically you're more of a cut player, and it was just interesting to see the ball go right to left with the driver and 7-iron now, the old version of the ball. So, yeah, your averages with the old ball, you're just over 8,000 spin, but the carry's at 185, ball speed at 133. So, seems like relatively standard numbers. Again, I'm curious on the spin because the spin went down with the new ball with the driver. I bet with the 7-iron it does the same thing.
A little chunky.
Was it?
Not bad
Okay.
though. Pretty solid.
I see the ball speed dip a little bit there, but okay.
Maybe a hair.
Yeah, maybe just lost a couple carry yards just because of that slight miss, but actually the spin stayed up there in a pretty good number. Yeah, that looks really good from here. Okay. That's the furthest one so far and the fastest one so far of the 7-irons. Got it to 136 ball speed. That is a lot of speed for a 7-iron. What is your, I guess, what do you typically play your 7-iron carry number?
180, 188, 190-ish.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was 190.
I'd say somewhere in there, around that area. Maybe just a hair behind it again.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you got maybe a couple of, I would say if we're being picky, maybe a couple strikes that weren't perfect, but I'm gonna bring up some data here that we have. So let's go to the carry total, or the carry number. You can kind of see what we've got here with all the data, but we've got actually a 3-yard decrease with the 2025. And again, I think it could have been potentially how a couple of those were struck there. If I go to spin rate, that's the thing I was curious about. And yeah, the spin did go down as well in the 2025. Pro V1 with the 7-iron. And then with the 2025 Pro V1 on the driver, it also went down quite a bit. So that's something worth noting. And then if we take a look at, you can take up the dispersion here. If I zoom in on it, you kind of see there was, the distance because of those two misses. Anything that you had as far as thoughts on the feel? Did anything feel different on with the irons?
Nothing really stood out much.
Is it pretty?
Honestly.
It's pretty similar.
It's pretty similar.
So we're kind of thinking Titleist is sort of keeping the formula that works for the most part, maybe making subtle things that aren't super noticeable.
Pretty consistent for sure.
Yeah, pretty consistent. Okay. So my interesting finding here is that they have not changed a ton based on your feedback in feel. Obviously, there's nothing crazy that they've changed with the dimple pattern or anything. They just continue to roll out the winning formula, I think. Now, as far as ball fitting, you and Tyler went through a pretty extensive discussion about making that switch. What would you just say in terms of ball fitting? Why is it important? Why is it important to play the one? Because obviously you made a switch and you had immediate success there.
I think it kind of goes down back to kind of just like getting fitted. I feel like with the Pro V1X, I feel like when we were kind of doing math and doing a little bit of a fitting, I feel like we kind of needed on my numbers kind of telling us I needed more spin and maybe a little bit more height to be a little bit more successful. And then right when I kind of made that switch, I had a pretty good, successful summer. And but again, I think it's just Titleist is super consistent with anything they're making. But I think it's extremely important to kind of like know what's best for you, like your specific feel.
Yeah, sure. And it's a player preference thing. It's a feel thing. Sure. You gotta be confident in what you're playing. So, yeah, we saw some subtle differences, but I think at the end of the day, if you find a Pro V1 out there on the golf course from 2015, 2009, it's probably still a pretty good golf ball, I think. So Sam, thanks for joining today, hitting some shots. This was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about Pro V1s.
Yeah, thank you.